Hiya, Georgie. Hello, everyone, and today I will be taking a look at It 2017, or as I'm going to call it, Chapter 1. Why Chapter 1? Well, I mean, the sequel, It Chapter 2, was called Chapter 2, so I think I'm going to call this Chapter 1 to make things less confusing. So, yeah. Now, they have a similar plot to the miniseries, where it basically revolves around 7 kids from the town of Derry who find out about a supernatural clown that has been killing children for hundreds of years, and it's up to them to stop it. But unlike the miniseries, this is split into 2 movies. The first movie is based on the stuff with the kids, while the stuff is focused on the adults. And that's actually a right call for me, because when it comes to splitting books into 2 movies, like if you had to split one book into 2 films, the only other time I think that worked was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. So, yeah. Now, since I won't go into the plot that much, since, let's face it, I already just explained it, let me list off my problems with the movie, because don't get me wrong, even though I'm not a fan of horror movies, this is a horror movie I actually really like, so I'm only going to go into my problems with the movie first. And I only have 3 problems with the movie. First, Stanley. Out of all the members of the Loser Club, he is the one who has the less character development out of all of them. In fact, most of his development are deleted scenes, like how in one of the deleted scenes, it's him at his bar mitzvah saying that, hey, Terry is all messed up, we have all this messed up stuff going on, and Rich is all like, so, yeah, why cut that scene out? It has him developing as a character. Seriously, he's basically a cardboard cutout at this point. Second problem with this movie. Now, don't get me wrong, while Bill Skarsgård is terrifying as It, I'll fully admit I had a nightmare about him once, but here's one problem. They overdid the creepiness for him, especially with the infamous Georgie scene. Now, one of the reasons what made Tim Curry so scary to children back in the day was that not only was he a nice clown, but because of how well he was as a clown, you were shocked to find out how scary he was. But with this one, Georgie can just run away. I mean, if I saw that kid when I was 7, I'd be like, I'm out of here. I'm not talking to that thing. I mean, sure, he tries to do his old pop, 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 but he still sounds intimidating. I will admit, I do like the whole thing where you can just tell he's like, oh man, I just want to eat this kid up. But yeah. And also, about the whole Georgie thing, this leads into my third problem with the movie. Now, in case you don't know, there were a bunch of bullies in this movie, like the miniseries, and one of them gets killed off in the first 20 or so minutes of the movie. Now, they were perfectly okay with showing Georgie get murdered, but for this guy, they pull a PG-13 on us. I'm not even joking. They literally just show Pennywise, and that's it. He's dead. What the heck? But with that being out of the way, let's talk about the things I do like. The child acting is really good. Like, seriously, this feels like Stranger Things if it was a movie that was based off a Stephen King novel. Now, I do know that Stranger Things does take elements from Stephen King, but still. All the child actors are great in this movie, especially the actor for Billy and Richie. I really love Richie in this movie. Everything he says is just so hilarious. And also, there's the fat kid in the group named Ben. I was actually thinking that, oh man, he's just going to be Owen from Total Drama, where he eats stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Owen from Total Drama, but still, I just thought he was going to be the obvious fat guy stereotype where he eats a lot of food. But nope, he actually is the history man, the guy who does the history stuff in the movie, so that was a nice subverting my expectations. And also, with Billy, you kind of feel bad for the guy. I mean, even after 8 months, when it's around summertime, he's all like, I'm still trying to figure out how Georgie could have survived. And yeah, you feel bad for the poor guy. Beverly is also kind of sad since, her dad abuses her. And also, the last one being, of course, Eddie, who's basically a germaphobe, and his mom's overprotecting. And this one comes off more real than they did in the miniseries. And seeing Eddie stand up is much more triumphant than it was in the miniseries. Also, Bill Skarsgård is just phenomenal in this movie. He just feels like a monster in so many scenes. The only scenes where I don't take him seriously is when he's doing this. Rawr! Like, I'm not even joking when I say I actually laughed at that point in the movie. And also the whole dance thing. Seriously, just play Gangnam Style over it, do it, and it loses all scariness. In fact, they better do something like that in the It Chapter 2. I haven't seen that movie yet, so yeah. Also, people actually float in this movie. Like in the miniseries, Pennywise was like, "You'll all float too." But in this movie, they actually show people floating. Thank God we have payoff to that line. But still. Also, the horror is actually really done in this movie. In fact, in one scene where we're at the It house, Pennywise's mansion, you can actually see a clown recreation of Tim Curry's It. So that's a nice little nod. And yeah, there's not much to say that hasn't already been said already. But also, I want to touch about this real quick. The balloons in this movie. First off, all of them are red, because in the original miniseries, they were all different colors, so there's not much standing out between them. But here, they're all red. And also, they're supposed to be like a build-up to something. So it makes you wonder, what's it going to build up to? Oh, sorry about that. So yeah. Overall, It Chapter 1, or It 2017, is a very good horror movie, and is one of the only horror movies I actually like. So it's my problem with horror is that it kind of feels like the same thing every time. And with that being said, I'm going to have to give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's that good, people. Seriously, if you haven't seen this movie, go watch it already. It's that good of a movie. So that being said, It Chapter 1 gets a 9 out of 10. See y'all later when I talk about It Chapter 2. See y'all later, and bye. You'll all float, Georgie. You'll all float too.